Happy Boxing Day to Nigerians, both at home and those in the diaspora. Wherever it is you are reaching us from, happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebiki. Today would be very interesting, because we are kicking off from our newspapers as usual, and right after that would be our main conversation for today. Do well to be part of what we do, have a say in what we say. You can find us, reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Very soon, honored to have joining us via Zoom from Lagos State, Nigeria, is veteran journalist Emeka Madunagu, journalist, public affairs analyst, and a development communicator. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being here, and happy Boxing Day to you.
Happy Boxing Day too. Yes, I'm expecting my box of gifts.
Yes, definitely. It would be coming. We just hope that Santa would not be held back by lack of fuel and so many other things, logistics.
Will not be held back. Santa can't move around in Nigeria because of traffic. There's traffic everywhere.
So Santa might get delayed in delivering boxes because of traffic in Nigeria, especially Lagos, by the way. But that's on the light mood, actually. I would love us to start with the Punch newspaper for today. We have the big story: 2026 budget. Anambra, Enugu, Kano lead in education funding, and we have a rider to the story. Akwa Ibom, Imo lag in education allocation as 16 states fall below UNESCO benchmark. We have all the growing stories on the top strip. Borno bomb at blast sparks heightened security nationwide. Tax law mix matches pose a serious risk, and that's coming from CTTN. Once Christmas, governors APC Saraki preach tolerance. On the bottom strip, we have a Christmas Day tanker explosion claims 2 lives in Lagos. 7,900 inmates pardoned in 3 years, really, in Nigeria. And I'm just hearing this. Well, we equally have other matters. The federal government reshuffles NCAA directors amid corruption allegation. Emeka, let's talk education right now. Anambra had always led the pack, and it's not surprising in 2026 it's still leading. Enugu is following suit. Kano, surprisingly, Emeka, is equally leading, despite the out-of-school children in the state in millions. Unfortunately, Akwa Ibom, Pastor Omoeno, who has flocked to the center. Imo, Hope Uzodimma, who is constantly living in Abuja rather than residing in his home state. They are all falling and lagging behind. Speak to me, Emeka. What basis was used to make this data known?
Thank you. The point is this. You see, what is education, really? What do you really call education? That's one thing that we have not been able to fully grasp in Nigeria. We think that until you go to a tertiary institution before you're educated. No. On the contrary, no. Vocational education, if you have skill, if you are trained, you have some skills, and then you are sufficiently educated to be able to read and write, you will do well. You will do well. But if you just think it's only when you get to when you attend a tertiary institution, then you will lag behind. And that's why you see we are having these out-of-school children. Out-of-school children, they can be trained in different skills. You can train them in different skills. There are so many things that they can do. And then, fine, even if you say it's Arabic education you're using, to train them. But also know that the world is interlinked. The world is diverse. So you need to also give them the benefit of Western education so that they can thrive in a diverse world. Don't box people into religious spaces. Don't box them into religious enclaves. Let people be free to utilize their abilities. Imo State lagging behind. It's worrisome because Imo State is always has maintained #1 position in terms of JAMB, WAEC, in Nigeria, and I think NECO, So
Emeka,
if they are lagging behind,
sorry to interject here. It's actually not surprising to note that Imo is lagging behind. Like I said in my opening statement, Hope Uzodinma is practically living in Abuja. He is more fixated with raising the hands of defectors to the APC than do all the things that had made Imo first for so many years. So don't you think that leadership deficit on the part of Hope Uzodinma had contributed to this?
No, with due respect, it has nothing to do with that. The basic thing is that there is an educational curriculum being run by Nigeria, by acceptable all over Nigeria. And all that is needed to be done is to keep people into those, let people plug into the curriculum. It's as simple. It doesn't matter who is the governor. It doesn't matter where he lives. What's important is this. I was going to say something that Imo has been leading in UTME, in WAEC, those, external examinations. So perhaps the government has not been able to extend this success to the vocational area. So it has been basically, about, the standard subjects that will lead to courses like law, accounting, medicine, surgery, pharmacy, and not about vocational education. So I think it's just a misalignment. It's a misalignment, not the absence of vocational teachers. Possibly there could be the absence of vocational teachers. That might be a problem. But misalignment. So, and that is a major problem in Nigeria. We have a lot of misalignments, in many areas. Misalignments, in different areas whereby, we have lofty goals. We have lofty policies, but they are not aligned to our needs. So we believe if, let's say, we can produce XYZ number of lawyers, doctors, and all of that, then we are fine. But we forget other things too, that we'll need, production. We need people to work in factories. We need people to work in the technical areas. And those are we need a holistic educational system, not just one that caters to career, to profession. We also need the blue-collar workers, not just white-collar. We need the blue-collar workers. We need to train the blue-collar workers too. And that's very, very important. I think now that Governor Hope Uzodinma, the state government is reviving aluminum extrusion factory in Imo State, Alex, and known as Alex. I know now he will realize the importance of ensuring that there are many blue-collar workers so that it will, the state will benefit in the long run. Thank you.
Emeka, it's quite important that we note some of these nuggets. But let's take a look at the northern part of Nigeria. How do you think we can better reorient that society, which had over the years believed that the Almajiri school is what they need? I do not know. How do you think we can remove the scale from their eyes to letting them know that, yes, we understand you need this, but that is not what the general society needs at this point?
This is your last word. What you just said. What the general society needs at this time. Our focus has been more on white-collar jobs. So we look away from blue-collar jobs. We look away from the shop floor. We look more at, things that will take people to the managerial cadre. And so that's why we have pervasive poverty. We have the Almajiri syndrome because we can't keep children begging on the streets. By the way, begging, like position Peter B will say, you can't beg your way, you can't tax your way, you can't borrow your way to prosperity. What you need to do is to have all hands on deck. Let people be trained. Let people be trained in different skills. And there are so many skills. Like you have the white collar careers. You also have the blue collar careers, the blue collar needs. You travel to Western nations, you see somebody will tell you I'm a plumber. And I've been a plumber for more than 40, 50 years. And I'm proud of it. And guess what? This guy has a PhD. This guy has a PhD. But because he knows that, that technical aspect, that, there are openings in it, and there is a need. Our problem is that, we don't realize that the way to prosperity is being able to resolve your pain points. What pains are you resolving? What pains are you resolving? What problems are you solving? What skills are you providing to solve problems? So, but what we believe is that, if we just need anything, we can always bring in Indian. We can bring in Chinese. We can bring in Lebanese. We can bring in Pakistanis. We can bring in people from the West. Why are you going to build your local industries? So I think we need to do better. Thank you.
So move to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. We have on the top strip, Gbajabiamila not replaced as chief of staff, and that's coming from the presidency. There's no smoke without fire. I wonder why this is making the news if there's nothing like that. Of course, we've had rumor of a little rift between Gbajabiamila, that's the chief of staff to the president, and the presidency itself. But since the presidency had said there's no need or there ain't any replacement, let's take it for what it is. But Emeka, let's talk about peaceful Christmas nationwide. Emeka, we are blessed, to be honest, and equally surprised that this is one time in many years that we didn't see no Christmas bombing, Christmas killing, Eve to Christmas killing, like we had seen, I guess, in 2023 in Jos and in many places. And this conspiracy theory that rather than see the Christmas Eve bombing in churches and different places of people having their midnight to cross over to Christmas, but this time we're seeing it in a mosque in Borno. Do you believe in that conspiracy theory that they are trying to balance issues such that it won't look as if it's a target against Christians in Nigeria?
No, I don't want to look at that. A lot of these terrorists have been severely degraded, so their capacity to carry out those attacks has been severely degraded. That's one side of it. The other side of it is the fact that now the international community is taking a closer look at security issues in Nigeria, which is helpful. You said there was no violence. No, America bombed some places in Nigeria now. Christmas Day.
We are going to get there in our main conversation. So I just want us to direct this just to the point.
What I'm trying to say basically is that, of course, the fight against terrorism has been significantly stepped up. And we have to acknowledge the efforts of our security agencies, even though a lot still needs, there's still room for improvement. There's still room for improvements, and then again, you'll find out that over the years, political figures have been indicted, have been named, have been linked to terrorism, as sponsors, have been linked as sponsors of terrorism. The United Arab Emirates gave us a list of names. That was since 2021. What did we do with it? And a lot of these people are said to have billions of naira in their accounts. What have we done? How come we've not done anything? When we're talking about political will, it's not just about political will. It's about the fact that there are people in government, prominent people in government, who are involved in terrorism. They are sponsors of terrorists, and they're encouragers of terrorism. And I hope we'll get to the point where some of these people are arrested and put on trial. Let them be dealt with. Let them be used as an example that we cannot tolerate terrorism. And I like what the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday in a televised address, Christmas Day address. Of course, he said attacks and displacement of Christians has to stop. I know people have been saying, no, there's no Christian genocide. I said the problem is that we need to improve our education and exposure of Nigerians to international education. You see, when the leading nations of the world, want to deal with an issue, they will always frame it. They will first of all find a frame. They will frame a narrative, that sufficiently strengthens that sufficiently strengthens that agenda. And which better way than to say Christian genocide, that there's Christian genocide in Nigeria, and of course to show you, after all, some days ago, didn't you see the photograph of some 5 children or so were killed, and they were buried in mass graves? They were buried in a grave. Didn't you see the pic? Social media has helped to expose these atrocities, these killings and everything. And I don't know, again, why the Nigerian government continues to allow somebody like Shegumi to be talking openly. I mean, if they are not cahoots with Shegumi, why is he still allowed to speak up? And then the media, ever so eager to give vent unknowingly to also aid terrorism, because you are giving a voice. You are giving a voice to Gumi. You are giving a voice to terrorists. It doesn't speak well of us, because we don't know that, look, when things go bad, the media is often one of the prime target, one of the primary targets, So we need to be very careful. We need to understand our role in these things. Thank you.
All right, we will do more analysis on these and more when we return. We have it that the U.S. strikes terrorist camps in Nigeria. The federal government confirms a strategic partnership to that strike. In a bit, still Enterprise Friday. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.